Good morning. I am Alexander Johnson. I serve as executive pastor here at Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church. We're delighted to welcome you to this press conference and delighted to host this gun buyback in conjunction with the City of Houston and Mayor Sylvester Turner, with Precinct 1 and Commissioner Rodney Ellis. We're delighted to welcome Chief Finner and Deputy Inspector General Crystal Okorafor here this day. And we just thank God for this opportunity to be a part of something that is prayerfully a benefit to the City of Houston and to reduce some of the gun violence that we're experiencing in our streets these days. So with that, I'll turn this over to Commissioner Ellis, and we look forward to his remarks.
Thank you all for being here. Mayor Turner will not be here. I got a text from him. I know he's well because it was late at night when most reasonable people would have been asleep. And he had a doctor's appointment this morning, his final one, and I'm pretty sure that they gave him the clearance, I'm told by staff, so you will hear from him tomorrow. I don't look nearly as good, don't sound nearly as good, but I'm glad to partner with our mayor on this. He and I wanted to get this done before school started. Obviously, all of us were touched by what happened in Uvalde. And we were also concerned about problems that we've had here. You've seen a lot of press coverage about those young kids, I think 17 and 2 adults who were killed in Uvalde. But if you look at the statistics, by May of this year in Harris County, just as the school year was wrapping up, 19 young people had lost their lives. 19 young people, 15 of them Hispanic or African American, died because of gun violence. All of those lives mattered. A 16-year-old girl was walking in the park when she was shot to death. A 17-year-old girl was shot by her brother in a double homicide. An 11-year-old was getting a jacket from his mother's car when bullets from a nearby shooting ended his life. A 9-year-old riding in a car to a Valentine's Day dinner, gunned down when her vehicle was mistaken for a getaway car. There's one common thread in all of these stories. Someone had access to a gun, plentiful guns. In fact, you've seen the stats. We have more guns in America than we have people. The ratio of individuals in our country to the number of guns is the highest among that ratio of any nation on the planet, held by individuals, not guns held by law enforcement or the government. We all deserve to feel safe in our homes, neighborhoods, and public places, and we can't feel safe when guns outnumber the number of people. When guns are easier to get than it is to get child care, health care, a college education, and a decent job. We can't change all those systems overnight, and we know that. But we can take action by removing guns from the street. It has become a public health crisis to have so many guns. Gun buyback programs create an incentive for residents to turn in their firearms. I would argue that there are 2 incentives at play. One is the gift card, and the other is creating a safer community. These programs, like the one the mayor and I are launching today, are only successful as part of a broader commitment to violence prevention. Like most interventions, they do not work in a vacuum. Thankfully, the City of Houston, with the mayor's great initiative that he and his team worked on, have come up with some solutions. The county has also. We have mobilized our resources with absolute urgency in a full court press on reducing violence in our communities. We dedicated from the county side $1.4 billion of our annual budget to justice and public safety, the largest amount ever allocated in Harris County history. But we're not just throwing money at the same old strategies that are important and have made a big difference. We're also rolling up our sleeves and getting to work on smart and meaningful programs to get to the root cause of crime. We've implemented a new violence interruption program, partnering with the city, an initiative that works with trusted and trained community messengers to de-escalate local conflicts, provide pathways out of gangs, and provide resources and support in terms of jobs, substance use, abuse, health, and education. Our new holistic assistance response team initiative, working with our city partners, sends trained responders to assist people struggling with issues related to mental health, substance use, or homelessness so they can receive the help that they need. This also eases the burden on law enforcement and allows them to focus on serious violent crimes, which, as the chief can tell you, they are very good at dealing with. We're connecting at-risk individuals to mental health, drug treatment, social, educational, economic, and employment services, removing neighborhood blight, and investing in communities that have been neglected for decades. We're addressing the backlog in the courts, helping more people re-enter and reintegrate into society through housing programs, and working not just to help domestic violence victims, but to prevent domestic violence from happening in the first place. This is an all-out offensive on the part of the mayor, the chief, the sheriff, the county players. All of us are involved in it. But it requires the voice and conviction of our community. We need your help to spread the word about this initiative that we're talking about today. Other cities have removed hundreds of unwarranted firearms, eliminating the chance of weapons cycling through illegal networks or being discovered by curious children or teenagers at someone's home. So what are we going to do? For every non-functioning gun, you receive $50. For every rifle or shotgun, $100. For every handgun, $150. For an assault rifle, $200. But the feeling that you've done something, that you've taken action to protect the community we call home, and to help our children who live, is really priceless. So people who bring these guns in, I don't think are really bringing them in to get the money. It's because it's a chance for everyday citizens to play a role in reducing crime. In 2016, the city of Los Angeles hosted a gun buyback program, and they ran out of gift cards. But they still collected over 800 firearms. People continued to turn in weapons because the incentive to them was much greater than the dollar amount of the gift card. They wanted to make a difference. Our buyback program, in coordination with the city, will take place on Saturday, July 30th at this historic church at 8 a.m. until noon at the historic Willa Avenue Baptist Church. Anyone can turn in a gun, no questions asked. The key is to get those weapons off the street. This event will be safe. All firearms must be unloaded and in the trunk of your vehicle. You don't even need to get out of your car to turn it in. And we have seen time and time again, we can pass every great policy imaginable, but we have to get weapons off the street, out of the hands of people who should not have them, in order to keep our community safe. We want to ask everybody to do their part. I want to thank Pastor Johnson and say happy birthday to the presiding pastor of this church. And I'm glad he did not come today. He took off. I want to thank Chief Finner, Commander Garcia for being here, Crystal Okorafor, who did a lot of work on this. And of course, Larry Payne, I know Chief is going to say something about him as well. I want to thank my team as well, my staff, working with the mayor's office. Mayor Benton, I want to thank you, by the way, for pulling us together on short notice, and Derek, who's always out there in the hall with you. But look, to make this work, we really need our community partners to help. This is the order. You're going to hear from Chief Finner, who's from Sunnyside. I'm so proud of him. Next, and then you will, there will be a video. You will hear from Commander Garcia, who will do the Spanish interpretation. And then we'll hear from Yoruba Harris from Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee's office. I saw somebody looking at their watch. Yoruba, I want to say, don't read it all. I spoke with the Congresswoman late last night. We've been exchanging calls this morning. She and her federal colleagues are working to get us federal money. So in future events, we'll try to schedule them when our congressional people can be here. But we appreciate them and we love them. But we're going to shorten the statement because I saw somebody looking at their watch. Chief Finner.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner, and I'm honored to be here today. But let me give some special thanks and a happy birthday to Pastor Cosby and Will Avenue Baptist Church. What a beautiful facility. and y'all got to watch it. When y'all invite us over here and it's so nice, you know, we might just do all our press conferences over here. So the commissioner covered just about everything, but I do want to acknowledge Larry Payne. Thank you for what you do in the community, what you have done, and what you continue to do. And thank you for being here today. That's the chair of the mayor's task force on police reform. And you've been an advocate, somebody who loves this city. And I do appreciate what you do. Also want to thank my mayor in his absence. I spoke to him this morning, and I know y'all hadn't seen him, but the Mac is back, okay? I talked to him this morning, so he's coming. All right. So, Commissioner, again, thank you. It takes all of us, our community, our county, our federal partners. I want to give a special thanks to Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee for her support. But the mayor, I want to thank him for his vision with One Safe Houston and the success we've had. We're still in the fight for crime, and make no bones about it. We're still fighting crime in this city, but because of One Safe Houston and the collaboration we have and the support from the citizens, we've been seeing our numbers on violent crime go down. The murder rates are pretty much flat from a year to date, so we want to continue to do that. But as the commissioner said, Saturday, July the 30th, from 8 a.m. to noon, we will do a gun buyback program here. And again, I want to thank them. It is totally voluntary and anonymous. People can bring it. We're going to key up a video right here to go over some more instructions on it, but just know you can bring them in. And people have different opinions on different things, but if it's solution-based, let it roll. We need the help from everywhere. If people want to bring a gun back in and for whatever reason and get some money, it helps in crime. So I welcome that. Just a few more points. We're going to check all guns that's brought in. If they're stolen, we're going to get them back to the rightful owners, as well as if they are committed part of a crime, we're going to investigate that. So we plan this out. I want to thank Commander Campbell. I want to thank my Assistant Chief Martin, and also my Chief of Staff, who's going to translate here shortly. But let's key up the video, and after that, we'll get translations from Commander Garcia. Thank you. I'm not used to all this high-tech.
How historians can participate in Mayor Turner's One Safe Houston gun buyback program, which has the generous support of Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis. This will give everyone an idea of what to expect when arriving at the drop-off location. First, before arriving at the collection site, please unload your gun, if you can safely do so, and place it in your trunk or the rear of your vehicle. When you arrive at the location, HPD personnel will greet you and direct you to where you need to go. The first location will be where an officer collects your weapon. Please open your trunk or the rear hatch of your SUV. For everyone's safety, do not get out of your vehicle and do not attempt to hand the officer your weapon. The officer will remove the gun from your vehicle and clear the weapon to ensure it is unloaded and rendered safe. You will be asked to remain in line until you are provided a receipt for your gun. Next, you will exchange the receipt for a gift card. The gift card amount corresponds to the type of gun you brought. $50 for a non-functioning gun, $100 for a rifle or shotgun, $150 for a handgun, $200 for an automatic rifle. Once you receive your gift card, you will be directed to where you can exit the parking lot. We want to thank you for taking part in the gun buyback program. Together, we can make our city one safe Houston.
Right.
I'm having flashbacks. Muy buenos días, gracias por su presencia. A nombre del jefe de la policía, Troy Finner, le quiero dar las gracias al comisionado Rodney Ellis por su cooperación y su apoyo de este programa. También le queremos dar las gracias al alcalde Turner por su apoyo al Departamento de Policía y por su programa de Un Houston Seguro. También le queremos dar las gracias al presidente Biden. Por medio del gobierno federal y del Congreso federal se proporcionaron fondos para este programa. Este programa es una recompra de armas de fuego. Lo que le queremos decir a la gente es de que nosotros como policías estamos luchando por disminuir el nivel de crimen. Hemos tenido mucho éxito. El nivel de homicidios ha estado nivelado. En lugar de aumentar, se ha mantenido a un cierto nivel. Y los otros crímenes violentos, como la violación, como asaltos agravados, como robos, en realidad han disminuido. El objetivo del programa es eliminar las armas de la calle. Queremos hacer hincapié en de que este programa es voluntario y anónimo. No se les van a hacer ninguna preguntas. Nosotros como policías tenemos el deber de checar que esas armas no sean parte de algún crimen o no sean armas que se han reportado como perdidas o robadas para regresárselas a las personas que son los verdaderos dueños de esas armas. Pero nosotros no les vamos a preguntar a ustedes ninguna información que se va a enlazar con esa investigación. Las armas que vamos a colectar van a ser las que no funcionan, se les van a dar $50. Si son escopetas o rifles, se les van a dar $100. Si son armas de mano o pistolas, se les van a dar $150. Y por un rifle automático se les van a dar $200. Este evento se va a llevar a cabo el sábado 30 de julio, de 8 de la mañana a 12 de mediodía. De nuevo le queremos dar las gracias al comisionado, al Rodney Ellis, al alcalde Turner, al jefe de la policía y también a Sheila Jackson Lee, que ayudó mucho en este evento. Hay un par de personas que también le queremos dar las gracias, como Crystal Okorafor, y que ayudó bastante con este programa. Si hay algunas preguntas en español, con mucho gusto las hacemos después va a haber una persona más que va a hablar y posteriormente podemos contestar las preguntas en español después de las preguntas en inglés. Muchas gracias.
Sheila Stafford, where you come on up. And I talked to the mayor. I got a text from him saying, call me after I spoke to her. And he told me don't give a keynote, but he wanted me to make sure you can make your comment. But I gave a keynote, so shorten it a bit.
Fantastic. Thank you and good morning to everyone. I am here representing Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. We are in the heart of her district, and so certainly she wanted to thank and extend her support to the City of Houston, to our wonderful mayor, Mayor Sylvester Turner, to our HPD, of course, to Commissioner Ellis, as well as to the historic Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church. So we're excited to join in this launch and I just wanted to announce the Congresswoman's support of this effort and to read a brief portion of her statement. It says that the Congresswoman, who is chair of the Judiciary Subcommittee on Crime, Terrorism, and Homeland Security, which has introduced gun safety laws for more than 2 decades, applauds the city's and the county's work to establish gun buyback. This initiative, the Congresswoman spoke with Houston Police Department in 2021 as the statistics of gun violence continued to soar around the nation and in the city of Houston. The Congresswoman is looking forward to sponsoring several gun buybacks in the coming months, which will be funded with federal monies from the pandemic as well as future appropriations. I'm going to just conclude by saying that gun buybacks have been very successful in other cities, particularly in Syracuse, New York, Colorado, and Tampa, Florida. Gun buyback programs have been linked to reduced gun-related suicides and a reduction of gun-related crimes. These programs are also great public education to remind gun owners and of their responsibility, as well as to maintain control over the firearms, to report any loss or theft immediately to the law enforcement. So again, on behalf of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, she is excited to announce her sponsorship of this program, and to thank the City of Houston, Harris County, our Mayor Sylvester Turner, our Commissioner, and to our Houston Police Department. Thank you.
Good job. So we'll take your question. Somebody did ask on funding. We have purchased a little under $100,000 worth of gift cards. We'll be prepared to spend what it takes. Someone asked, what would you consider success? If we get one gun that could have been used to kill someone, it's a success. I was asking the chief, have we done it before? They've been around for a while. From my staff's research, the first one we could find in America was Philadelphia, like 1968. We've been able, our staffs, to do some cutting and pasting. City of Houston, chief told me, did them around about 2000. I know Beaumont, Texas did one right before the pandemic, and I was talking to Bishop Dixon, by the way, and wondering if we could get some private foundation money to do it. So we're paying for this one with local funds. If we can get reimbursed, we'll do it. I know in part of the mayor's program, there's a dollar amount earmarked for a lot of strategies, including this. And on the county side, we'll do it. But we will spend what it takes to want people to come out. Questions? Yes.
Let me see. Can we talk a little more about the aspect of no chiefs from the neighborhood, how to get people to understand that giving up your gun is not giving up on their security, because a lot of people in the community, especially young kids, feel that that they need protection because you don't know what the other guy's going to do. So can you address that?
Yeah. You know, as I said, because it has been done many times before around the country. We're not the first to do it. As far back as I can research and find it, at least 1968, might have been 67. I think it was 68 in Philadelphia. Baltimore's had some very successful programs. There have been some gun manufacturers who have tried to take the good deeds for Seattle, Washington, and turn it into something negative. But I feel confident the people who will bring these guns in are people bringing these guns in because they think it will help. You just go Google the numbers. You know, whatever we are, 300 and some odd million people in the country, maybe 340 million, and we're a little under 400 million guns owned by individuals. That does not add up. Chief, you want to comment on that?
Thank you for that question. And the commissioner always want to adopt me. I'm actually from Fifth Ward, raised in Hiram Clark, but it's all right if he adopts me. But I do understand some dynamics of the neighborhoods, okay? And that's a good question. But we have to bring support to the young men that are decent individuals. It's different now. You got some individuals that out here that just want to commit violent crime after violent crime. They have no need for a gun. Most of us have no need for a gun packing it around. So we have to bring in, and that's part of One Safe Houston. The mayor is bringing in a holistic approach, education, training, viable employment for those individuals, and let them know that we care for them. And there's another way away from the crime. So do understand the challenges, though. Thank you.
Any others? Yes.
A lot of research that shows federally these programs
Say it a little louder.
There's a lot of research federally that shows these programs don't accomplish the goal of reducing gun violence. Sometimes you get guns that people just being an addict, what have you. But that's not to say they can't work. Why do you believe it's going to work here now?
Well, look, as I said, this is just one strategy. And the reason I gave a keynote and went through all of the others and anything else that we can come up with, we're rolling up our sleeves and we're doing everything. But the research I have seen has been mixed. But look, you can find research that criticizes virtually everything we do. No one would say we ought to not try. So we haven't had one since around about 2000. The city did it. I think we'll try it and we'll see it. If it goes well, we'll learn some lessons from this one that we can apply as we plan future events. Chief, you want to comment?
Yeah, just wanted to comment on the funding as well. The mayor allotted $1 million out of his One Safe Houston for gun buybacks. I don't get into a whole lot of debate, especially when it touches in political areas of what's successful, what's not successful. Everybody will say if you support something, it's successful, and you find that research that supports that. But there's other research. All I'm saying is, here in Houston, I want us to all, work together, and if we can get one gun off the streets that prevents a murder or aggravated assault, I'm all for it as a chief. Thank you.
Any others? Yes.
7 weeks ago, the mayor stood at a podium like this one talking about One Safe Houston, giving us an update, and was celebrating the fact that the homicide rate was down by just 3%. Well, the homicide rate hasn't increased significantly. That drop didn't even last just 6 weeks. What does that say about, one, our city, and two, was it too early to celebrate that?
Let's get some statistics right, okay? When we started the year before One Safe Houston, if you look at and you compare the statistics from the previous year, those numbers was almost 70%. Since we started One Safe Houston, it's been a steadily decline. Now the numbers are flat right now, but we're in the middle of summer, and I want those numbers to go down even more. But our officers are working pretty hard out there, and we'll continue to do what we have to. But I do not celebrate it, but I do want to give credit to the men and women on the front line, and most importantly, our citizens, because homicide, it's not an issue that police deal with by themselves. It's mostly a crime that the victim and the suspect, there's some type of relationship, in the majority of them. So not giving all the credit to the police, giving the credit, I meant to say, to our community. So we'll continue to work together, and hopefully those numbers continue to go down. But right now they are flat. But all the other violent crimes, sexual assaults, aggravated assaults, robberies, those numbers are down. So,
Look, I just add, it's never one press conference, one program that ends it all. Look, we keep going. I've been in office, so as a mayor, I guess I've been in since 1984. I think he was elected about 86, and we've seen it go up and down. You keep trying. So this program we're announcing today is just part of a package. And the county's working with the city. We're pooling our resources. We're investing a tremendous amount, both on the city side and the county side, in traditional law enforcement. But we're also doing other things that are outside the box.
What do you guys need to see in order to decide whether or not this program, there's millions of dollars, is actually working or not? You mentioned that it's flat. What do you, as a chief, want to see in order for you to stand up here and say, this program's working, the money's going?
when you look at success, you look at a lot of different ways. But when those numbers are going down, and one thing that we don't talk about, and it's hard to measure, how our citizens feel. Those individuals that's living in the neighborhood. So I want to get out and do some surveys in the communities where crime rates are pretty high, and where there have been some improvement, and some there may not been. But let me talk to the community members, and we're in an area sometime where it gets political and people just throwing bombs at one another. But those stakeholders, and number one, our citizens that we serve, how are they feeling? And we're in a crime fight, just like any other major city, and it's been going on since COVID. And I don't have the crystal ball right now. I'm telling you, criminologists are going to be studying this era for many years, and we may have some answers. But right now, let's let those crime rates continue to go down. Let's continue to work with our citizens, and let's have the perception, and most of them in their mind, hey, it's a safer city. So hope that answers it. Thank you.
Chief,
Look, everybody has a right to defend themselves, but I'm not going to stand up here and chief and say, hey, arm yourself and fight back or whatnot. Look, do what you have to do, but I think the biggest weapon that we have is working together and communicating, being observant and vigilant for yourself as well as your neighbors. You know, because as you know, sometimes when you have a weapon, it don't work out for you. You might be an innocent citizen or victim, and you pull that weapon, and that suspect already has a hand up on you, you know. So it could go either way, but the biggest thing is let's continue to communicate. Let's continue to watch out for one another. Okay? Is that one more? Is that for the commissioner?
For the chief, Commissioner, you mentioned 19 kids have died through IATs. That number has gone up, at least in the county. Chief, what's driving it? Why are teenagers dying so much?
They're not immune to what's going on. Those numbers are up, you know, for other age categories. But I will tell you this, and we need the support of citizens. We need funding. You got to do something with kids, okay? We're really intentional, and that was a part of One Safe Houston. The youth programs that we're really bringing back and getting stronger in the city. The colony is with us, but we need our citizens, our corporations to invest in the youth, help them out. Let's have programs where we work, where we're having, you know, programs where they can get meaningful, respectful employment. That's what pulls them away, a better educational system. So it's not just a police problem. Everybody here knows it's a mental health, it's a social problem. So we all just got to pull in there together, and that's what we've been trying to say. And if you look at the funding, nobody can complain about, you know what, all this overtime money going to the police. The mayor and the leaders of our city made sure that wasn't the case. So we'll see.
Look, I would just add to that, this focuses on having too many guns. We can report about all of the other issues that have an impact on crime. But for some reason, there's a reluctance to talk about whether or not it's a problem to have more guns than you have people. Now, I don't know about you, but when I leave here, if somebody pulls out in front of me, I'm not going to blow my horn. I'm going to wave and say, I'll get out of the way. Everybody doesn't think that way. It's a problem when there are so many guns, particularly guns that are weapons of mass destruction. So we're going to keep investing in those traditional things, but we're also trying additional things. And a gun buyback program is just a part of it. Let's take maybe, Mary, one or two more. One more. You got it.
We're talking about kids, and you mentioned teenagers. How important was it to have this program happening before school started? You mentioned that a little earlier.
The mayor and I talked about it. Be honest with you, Chief, the last conversation I can think was a sidebar conversation when we were unveiling the George Floyd statue. Because we're working through all of the dots and I's to make sure we know how we can legally use the federal money. And I said, you know, I can put up the part from Precinct 1. Maybe get reimbursed, maybe not. But I'd like to do something before school starts. And so that was why we wanted to do it. I hope it sends out a signal. I read the report. I'm sure you all have read it as well. It came out from the House committee, and it's an ongoing process. But I want to give the indication that we're doing something before our kids go back to school. My kids are in college now, but we want to send a signal. And it's a way that the community can participate. I hope that if we run out of gift cards, people in Harris County, in Houston would do what people in L.A. County and Los Angeles City did. They stayed in line, which indicated they too sense having more guns than people is a problem. Chief, you want to add that?
Yeah. We got a 1 million, so I'm sure it's a way, and we got a few more days. Those individuals in line that, we run out of gift cards. We'll take a rain check. We'll get that money to them, okay, some kind of way.
And the county
So
will at least
just bring the
match
guns
that.
in. Yeah.
We'll
Thank
at
y'all.
least match that million.